We need someone to inspire us again. Someone who can be a symbol for all of us. Join me in welcoming
your new Captain America.
Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be my Falcon and Winter Soldier Episode 1 video, Marvel's next big Disney Plus series. Be sure to subscribe to get all the episodes. I'll be doing videos for all of the episodes just like I did for Wandavision. We're doing a Disney Plus giveaway for memberships. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just leave your favorite moment from the episode on the video, or favorite Easter egg. Careful for spoilers if you have not seen the episode yet, and careful for spoilers from WandaVision episodes. I'll explain where this fits in the timeline in some of the crossover Easter eggs, because obviously it's Marvel, everything is connected. But the episode is titled New World Order, which is a reference to a bunch of different storylines and subplots. It's a reference to the aftermath of Avengers Endgame, because it sort of deals with the direct aftermath and what's going on in the world, the chaos that's happening that they reference. The new version of the Super Soldier program, the Weapons Plus program that we saw during Incredible Hulk that Thunderbolt Ross had jump-started, because we see the brand new version of Captain America, the US agent John Walker Captain America. It's a reference to Baron Zemo's subplot during the series, the new Flag Smashers group, which is sort of a separate storyline, although it's implied that all those storylines are going to dovetail by the end of the series. In New World Order, as in the beginning of Falcon wielding the shield, the new version of Captain America, because that's kind of what the series is about. It's all about the process of Falcon eventually becoming the next Captain America. But as you can see, he starts in a really low place. But the episode begins about 6 months or so after Avengers Endgame. So WandaVision takes place between 3 and 4 weeks after Avengers Endgame. Like the WandaVision finale takes place about 4 weeks after Avengers Endgame. So Falcon and Winter Soldier is taking place a couple months after that. They said the reason why they chose to have the series take place during this particular time period is because they wanted to get past the honeymoon phase of the blip where everyone's just excited to be alive again, like, yay, everyone's back, all my loved ones are back. And now, as you kind of see during the episode, reality has set in and it's chaos everywhere. Everyone's kind of gone back to being an asshole to each other. Even Falcon can't even get a bank loan because they claim he hasn't had income for the last 5 years, even though he had been snapped for that entire period. But the episode actually begins with him looking at Captain America's shield with the voiceover from Old Man Captain America at the end of Avengers Endgame asking him, how does it feel, talking about the shield. He said it feels like someone else's, and then Steve Rogers, Captain America, says it's not, as in it belongs to you, like he really wanted Falcon to take the mantle of Captain America. The dialogue is literally copy and pasted from Avengers Endgame, and there obviously is the question of what happened to Old Man Cap after this scene, because everybody has these theories they reference later in the episode. There's a theory that he's on the moon base. Don't worry, there's a bunch of Easter eggs there. I'll explain what's going on with that in a second. But then they continue to open pretty much the exact same way that they opened the Captain America Winter Soldier movie, where you have like a brief intro scene, but then you really open with a giant action scene. In the Winter Soldier movie, it was the boat scene with Hydra and Batroc the Leaper, so you can see how they're very literally copying a lot of the beats from the Winter Soldier movie because they brought back Batroc the Leaper for a very similar type of opening action scene. The twist is here that it's the canyon fight scene with Falcon's newer wingsuit that we've seen in all the trailers, just meant to give you a tutorial in the Falcon character, show you how his systems, how his tech works in a way that they haven't in the previous Avengers movies like Infinity War, Endgame, Captain America Civil War, even the Winter Soldier movie. You see his heads-up display, you actually learn that a lot of his gear is Stark tech, and you see how his new version of Red Wing, the special drone that he's had in all the previous movies, works. So he's had a version of this in all the movies before, it just each time he shows up in a new movie, it gets upgraded. But the group that he's after is called LAF, and they've just targeted this captain that he's trying to save. Vasant isn't a big comic book Easter egg, so I think he's just a character they created for the episode. You learn that since Avengers Endgame, Falcon has been taking contracts with the Air Force to earn money, so he's not official military like he used to be. But it's a very Mission Impossible Tom Clancy covert ops scenario, like don't get caught because the US is not supposed to be operating in this area. The Lieutenant Torres, who's helping him out on the ground, his sort of sidekick, the intelligence officer, is a reference to Joaquin Torres from the comics, who is the second version of Falcon who took the mantle from Sam Wilson after he took the mantle of Captain America. That doesn't necessarily mean that this Lieutenant Torres is going to become the next Falcon in the MCU, because I don't know exactly how they're going to make the transition to Falcon becoming the next Captain America. We'll just have to see how that plays out in the series. The way he yeets out of the plane is a reference to Captain America at the beginning of Winter Soldier, just yeeting out of the back of the plane without a parachute. Did he just jump without a chute? Yes he did. The scene of him surprising the pilot peeping in the window is also very reminiscent of the first Iron Man movie, where Iron Man hugged the bottom of the jet and just went for a ride with the other pilots peeping him like, wait a minute, there's a man attached to the bottom of the plane. They show you how the new version of Red Wing works. It's basically like a Stark Tech enhanced AI drone, like it has its own minor version of Jarvis or Friday on it that he talks to like it's one of his partners, like he would talk to a human partner like Winter Soldier. The whole close quarters fight that he has on the plane here also meant to be very reminiscent of the close quarters fight that Captain America had on the boat at the beginning of Winter Soldier. Couple twists though, obviously he's wearing the wingsuit, so you see him use the wingsuit in ways that he hasn't used it before. This time Batroc the Leaper escaping seemingly unscathed as they continue the chase in the wingsuits, just to show you more of what it looks like when he's flying around in the canyons with it. The other reason for them opening with this giant action scene here is to make it feel like this is a movie just playing out in 6 hours, 6 different episodes. The reason why they originally wanted to drop Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes before WandaVision was just as a proof of concept, like, look, we can do these big Avengers movies on TV and it'll feel just like a movie, you just be watching it in 6 different parts. So I'll say after episode 1, mission accomplished, this definitely felt like a slam dunk big Marvel movie just done on TV. But the fight kind of escalates as they go along, like his systems start malfunctioning, there's another helicopter that joins the fight and starts firing on him. They show you how nimble he is with the wings in the air. There are a couple cool aerial takedowns, then he just stealth shows up on the helicopter when they're talking about getting away, like we're about to get away scot-free. He snatches that captain by threading the needle right through Batroc's helicopter, and even though he does complete his mission successfully, Batroc the Leaper does get away, so I believe that later in the series, Batroc will come back. There'll be a lot of other special cameos that they'll have in the series, like obviously War Machine was a big cameo, Rhodey was a big cameo during this first episode, he'll also probably come back in future episodes. The rest of this opening scene with Falcon and Tunisia though, they just use to sort of reacquaint you with the character, let you know some of his other skills that maybe you didn't see in the other Avengers and the other Marvel movies, and give you an idea for what the world is like post-blip. Like you learn that he's actually got engineering skills, he's repairing Red Wing himself, like he makes a joke about how the Air Force keeps messing it up when they try to work on it. The local businessman comes up to thank him just because he's a cool dude, like it sounds like it wasn't part of his normal Air Force work, like he just helped a dude out because he wanted to be nice. Then they introduce the idea of the Flag Smashers group from the comics, the symbol of the red hand over the world. So the whole idea is that in the comics, Flag Smasher is a single character like he's a Marvel villain in the Captain America comics, but their whole operating ethos is pretty much the same ethos of the Marvel comic book villain that they're based on. They go around trying to destroy world governments as this really twisted way of bringing people together, but in the context of the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes, they explain that the Flag Smashers group thought that the world was better before the blip during that 5-year time jump because humans as a group were much more united. They were united because they were just trying to survive. Now that everyone's come back after the blip, things have kind of gone back to default where everyone's an asshole to each other again. But it's not totally clear exactly what the Flag Smashers' plan is. They sort of tease their group a little bit later in the episode. I'll talk about that too. Falcon starts to get some ideas about what's going on with them. Then they reference all the conspiracy theories that people have about what really happened to Steve Rogers' Captain America after Avengers Endgame. Like, people knew that he fought and helped defeat Thanos, but that's all they know. They don't know what happened to him after. The theory that he references about him being on a secret base on the moon is actually a reference to a couple storylines in Marvel Comics. The Avengers have visited the moon many times. That's also where Marvel's Watcher in the comics shows up a lot, and there was a Nick Fury secret base on the moon in the comics for a long time. I also believe it's meant to be a reference to Nick Fury's space station from the Spider-Man Far From Home post-credit scenes that he has with the Skrulls. But the way Falcon talks about it, like he tries to brush it off like, no, you don't have to listen to any of those crazy conspiracy theories, as if he knows what's happened to Captain America, but doesn't want to say. They treat it like people think that he's dead, but I think there's going to be a big twist with that. So early theory, it is possible that he is living on Nick Fury's space station in retirement, but the whole idea is that Chris Evans said that he wasn't planning on coming back to the MCU right away, but there have been some rumors about that, so we'll just see what kind of Easter eggs we see for his character during the series. They do reference him several times in the episode. Then he says he's going back to Washington, D.C. for quote-unquote moon stuff, that means Captain America stuff, because he's taking Captain America's shield to give it back to the government, because it does technically belong to the government. He gives this big speech about the meaning of Captain America, the meaning of the shield, the symbolism, the man behind the symbol being just as important as the symbol itself. This is all at the Smithsonian at the Captain America exhibit, and they basically put it in the case there. War Machine, Rhodey's character, is there because he's also military, just like Falcon, and it's basically a military ceremony. We also meet the government official who unveils the John Walker U.S. agent version of Captain America at the end of the episode. I don't know who his character is yet. I didn't see him credited at the end of the episode. But he just seems like one of the military officials who's behind this new version of the Weapons Plus program. He thanks Falcon, it was the right thing giving us the shield back, bringing it back, because it sounds like nobody knew what happened to the shield after Captain America went to return the Infinity Stones. They just thought it was lost to time forever until Falcon brought it back. Like, no, I have it here you go. All the chaos that he talks about during his speech, too, that's sort of a callback to Wandavision with Monica Rambeau's storyline, showing what the blip was like in the moment, like her body literally being reassembled at the atomic level. And when he talks about the need for new heroes suited for the now very different world that they're living in, post-alien invasion and massive god-level events, the phrase, quote-unquote, suited for today is foreshadowing for Falcon's eventual costume change when he fully takes the mantle of Captain America. Like, he's already got a brand new costume for the Falcon and Winter Soldier series now, the new Falcon costume, but I believe he'll also get another new Captain America version of the Falcon costume. So he will literally be suited for the new challenges. Then you see that Rhodey looks like he actually kind of gets pissed off at him for giving the shield back. Like, dude, what's the deal? You were supposed to keep that and take the mantle of Captain America. He actually kind of takes him to task through it as they're walking through the Captain America exhibit. Falcon says all of his relatives are 5 years older because they didn't get snapped, which they pay off later when you meet the rest of his family, like he's got a sister with a couple kids who are way older now because they were not snapped. Rhodey also jokes about teaching them how to fly the right way because remember, they're both pilots, it's just they both use different types of gear. Like he flies in the Iron Man designed War Machine armor, but Falcon uses the wingsuit. Then flat out asks him, why didn't you take the mantle of Captain America when he gave you the shield, like he wanted you to? Like that was what Captain America was telling him to do. Here, take the shield, it belongs to you now. The way Anthony Mackie explained this, the reason why Falcon didn't just immediately become Captain America is because he said that he wasn't totally happy with what was going on in America at the time. The Falcon character wasn't super happy. Like they try to explain during the episode, the state of the world has kind of gone to crap, everything's chaos again, and he didn't want to become Thunderbolt Ross's patsy and just do whatever the government told him to do. Like remember, Steve Rogers had a very contentious relationship with the government. After Captain America Civil War, after he became a fugitive, he actually darkened the star on his uniform because Captain America himself did not believe in what the government was doing and didn't want to be a symbol for that particular government. That's sort of where the US agent version of Captain America comes in. I'll explain him in a second too. But there are a whole bunch of Easter eggs here and objects from the first Captain America movie. Like there's his original motorcycle that he rode during World War II. There's the very first version of the shield from before he actually got the real vibranium shield. There's his backpack, there's his helmet, there's a copy of the Captain America #1 comic book. That's actually the real Captain America comic book too, the actual cover. They circulated this during the real World War II. I think that they even have one of his drawings here, like the drawing of the monkey from the first Captain America movie that he was drawing, because you remember that Steve Rogers was a cartoonist before he became Captain America and joined the military. Then when War Machine says, I'll be in touch and leaves, I think that's just a reference to him coming back and cameoing in a future episode later this season. He'll have his own Disney Plus series next year. It'll be the Iron Man Armor Wars series, so I'm assuming that they'll tease a little bit of what's going on with that later in the Falcon and Winter Soldier episodes. Then we begin with Winter Soldier for the first time since Avengers Endgame, who's in the middle of having a nightmare about one of his Hydra missions from before the events of the Winter Soldier movie in his full Hydra Winter Soldier gear with the original version of his arm, moving through a bunch of guards like tissue paper. He says, Hail Hydra, takes out this scientist who we actually find out is the son of Yori, the person that he's befriended in present day. He wakes up in a cold sweat in the most bare-bones, shoebox-sized apartment you've ever seen, sleeping on the floor instead of on a bed, just as a way to address how he's still dealing with the PTSD of his Hydra brainwashing in the years of work as an assassin. Shuri did deprogram him, and he does talk about his time in Wakanda being really amazing for him, so the Red Book of Hydra commands won't work on him anymore, but he still remembers all the terrible things that he did, so he still has to work through the trauma of that, the same way that Scarlet Witch had to work through her trauma and grief on the Wandavision episodes. The list of commands in that Hydra book also show up as an Easter egg over the credits, too, at the end of the episode. We find out that he's in therapy and that the therapy is part of the terms of his US government pardon, like they pardoned him for all of his crimes as Winter Soldier. But as part of that, he has this plan to make amends, so to speak, that they sort of go through in a bunch of funny moments where they address what he's actually been doing since Avengers Endgame, quote-unquote, making amends by taking out other former Hydra operatives. They reveal the therapist that he's been visiting is the woman from the trailer that you see while they're having the staring contest. When he starts getting on her case for doing the quote-unquote notebook thing, that's also a callback to the Red Hydra notebook. Then he talks about his list that he's got, which is another callback to Captain America's list in the Winter Soldier movie. Like Captain America had a list of things that he wanted to do since coming out of the ice. Bucky has his own list, but it's all part of his plan to make amends. And a lot of the names on his list are big comic book Easter eggs from the Winter Soldier comics and the Captain America comics. Then they show you, and he narrates him crossing one of the names off his list, taking out one of these senators that was working with Hydra that he helped install in the government. So the names on his list, it starts with Rostov. That's actually the Red Barbarian character from the comics. Hauser was a Nazi agent from the Captain America comics. I don't think that Ganod and Talazad are comic book Easter eggs, but then you see Baron Zemo's name. Obviously, he's going to be a big character during the series. Henriksen is the name of a US military soldier that they tested the Venom symbiote on before they gave it to the Flash Thompson Venom. The name Sari, I think, is a reference to the character Sari Tartar, a character from the 1940s World War II era who just burned and tortured victims. The name Osmond doesn't ring any comic book bells, and then there are obviously two Kaminskys, maybe brothers or father and son, but that's also the name of a Hydra agent that worked under Garrett on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Kustinov is also the name of a Russian scientist who was associated with Crimson Dynamo. But as we see later in the episode, there are a bunch of more names in the book. It's not like the whole list is just this one page. The entire book is full of names. They also let you know during this therapy session that Falcon has been trying to contact Winter Soldier, probably just to catch up and maybe about eventually what's going to be happening with them working together on these missions to take down the Flag Smashers. They also set up the idea that because he's over 100 years old, he's 106 years old, everything is new to him now. Like he has no connections, no family that's alive anymore. They reference that several times in a couple funny moments later in the episode. We learn that he's moved back to Brooklyn after Avengers Endgame, where he and Captain America were originally from, and winds up helping one of his local friends, Yori, from starting a fight with his neighbors, who's just trying to use his trash bin. This also sort of dovetails with the idea that he's trying to make amends, but we learn that he's actually probably befriended him out of guilt for killing his son, who was apparently either working against or working with Hydra, someone that Hydra wanted him to get rid of. But it takes the rest of the episode to sort of tease it out, but they sort of set the stage in a couple different scenes where he talks about not knowing how his son died. It's so mysterious. And then when he's on his date with the waitress, she references the same thing too. It must be so hard not knowing how he really died, what was really going on there. He does try to come clean and tell him the truth, but he kind of chickens out at the last moment when he sees the shrine to his son there. It's not all bad though. They do have a lot of comedy about him just trying to go out on dates. Like he references using online dating. Like it's all crazy. Oh, you talk like my father. Huh, that's kind of funny. Apparently the waitress, even though he's a regular at this sushi bar, doesn't really know anything about him. Doesn't know the fact that he's really the Winter Soldier, that he has a vibranium arm. Like why do you wear that glove all the time? And when he reveals that he is 106 years old, she just laughs it off like it's a joke. When he makes a reference to not having danced since 1943, that's actually around the time that he was rescued by Captain America after Red Skull captured, experimented on him, and gave him a version of the Super Soldier Serum. There are also a couple Easter eggs when they're playing the Battleship game together, drinking Battleship, which he's pretty bad at, like he winds up drinking a lot. When they start calling out the Battleship designations too, those are some Easter eggs. So when he calls out F4, that's actually a reference to his backstory. F4 is the military classification for someone who is unfit for duty, and because of all the PTSD mental health issues he has, he's kind of unfit for duty, so to speak. He references his sister that he used to be close to and his parents, who are all dead now because he's super old. But because he lives in this neighborhood and it seems like he frequents this sushi bar, we'll see if he comes back later in the series and has a better version of a date with this woman. Then we pick back up with Falcon in his family's home in Louisiana. We learn he has a younger sister with nephews who was basically trying to survive on her own during the 5-year time jump. They have this fishing family business that they're trying to keep alive, and they kind of let you know that being an Avenger does not pay the bills. Like even Falcon, who was an Avenger, fought Thanos, defended the planet, helped bring back half of the universe, still does not qualify for a small business loan. Did Stark pay you while you were doing all that stuff? Oh, sorry, condolences, by the way. Like they make a joke about Iron Man dying at the end of Avengers Endgame, so the public does have some idea of what happened during that big fight, but there's a lot of things that they don't know, like what really happened to Old Man Captain America. Then back in Switzerland, you actually meet the Flag Smashers, his teammates trying to learn what's going on with them, so he tries to infiltrate their group. You meet Erin Kellyman's character for the first time, but you don't see her with the mask off. Like, they don't fully reveal what's going on with them, but you do find out that one of them is crazy strong, just sort of setting the stage for this whole diluted version of the super soldier serum that it seems like the Flag Smashers have. But it's sort of the same idea with the Captain America Civil War flashback scenes with the Hydra super soldiers. Like, you have a group of super soldiers that are kind of like the villain group running around. Falcon seems like he starts to put some of the pieces together, like this kind of seems like a big Captain America super soldier thing, but he hasn't completely put the pieces together. But right on cue, they introduced the newest super soldier because it's all part of a Weapons Plus storyline. The US agent version of Captain America on TV, and instantly Falcon looks like he regrets giving the shield back, like, oh no, because the whole speech that government official or the military official gives is about, well, it was great that we have all these heroes to defend the Earth, the planet, but we need a hero to protect specifically just the United States. Like, oh, that doesn't sound good. It should give you an idea of the kind of energy that the US agent Captain America brings with him. He's more like a patsy for Thunderbolt Ross, who will do whatever he says. U.S. Agent Captain America is very quick to violence, is very quick to kill people, very quick to use force, as you'll see in future episodes. He is like the darkest timeline version of Captain America, not to be confused with Hydra Cap, who's a completely separate character. But then the credit scene basically tells you the story of U.S. Agent Captain America, Falcon's history, Winter Soldier's history in the Marvel movies, the new theme song, you see Easter eggs for all the characters, along with the Flag Smashers, the symbol from the other villain groups we're going to see during the series. There'll be smaller villain groups that'll pop up from the comics. You see a bunch of Baron Zemo Easter eggs, the new version of his mask, the comic book costume that they give him during the series. You see a bunch of Sharon Carter, even though neither of those characters showed up during episode 1. But overall, I really enjoyed the episode. I feel like it's another slam dunk for Marvel on Disney+. Everyone just post all your reactions, and if there are any big Easter eggs you spotted in the episode that I didn't talk about in the video, just write them below in the comments. But it's just the beginning. We'll probably learn more about what's going on with the new version of the Super Soldier program, the Weapons Plus program, and the US Agent Captain America during episode 2. My full episode 2 video will post next Friday just like normal. It's the same schedule as the Wandavision episodes, but I'll be doing bonus videos in between now and then. Everyone click here for that brand new Falcon and Winter Soldier trailer video, and click here for my new Justice League Snyder Cut ending video for the big end credits scenes. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys tonight.